Now, on the death of former One Direction member Liam Payne in Buenos Aires, the 31-year-old reportedly fell from the third floor of a hotel. Jason Lipshutz is the executive director of music with the publication Billboard, and he joins us now from New York. Jason, welcome. Your reaction to this news, firstly?
Just shock. I think the entire music world and music industry is just stunned by this. And I think it's one of those things now with celebrity deaths where you feel like it might not be true, and then it gets confirmed, and you're still just like the wind's totally taken out of our sails. And we've already seen a lot of writers and artists already reacting with total bafflement more than anything.
Yeah. So the band One Direction, they broke up nearly 10 years ago, so we have to remember just how huge they were. They were incredibly successful and famous, weren't they?
Yeah, it's wild to think about almost being a decade away now, but they were so prolific. They put out 5 albums in 5 years. You know, boy bands don't have a long shelf life, so they really made the most of their time in the spotlight and put out some amazing music, played stadiums around the world. And now what we've seen is something that's kind of unprecedented for a pop group like them, which is multiple solo stars. Harry Styles, obviously, a huge superstar in his own right. Liam himself had a top 10 hit on the Hot 100. Niall, Zayn had a #1 hit. Louis had some big songs. So yeah, all 5 members have really taken off since 1D went on hiatus at the end of 2015.
And Liam Payne, he had this incredible fame for basically half his life, didn't he? He was a teenager when One Direction was formed.
Yeah, it's funny because you think about, they formed in 2011, which isn't that long ago, but yeah, they were all, 14, 15, 16, kind of around that age when they started taking off. Liam was 17 when he sang on What Makes You Beautiful, which was their debut single and first top 10 hit. And yeah, now he passed away at 31, so he was in the spotlight for the majority of his life and career.
What was it about their music that made them so popular? Can you put your finger on it, Jason?
Yeah, it's interesting because looking back on that era of pop music, there was a lot of dance music, EDM, this kind of very up-tempo strain of what we called turbo pop at the time, very club-centric. And One Direction kind of bucked that trend. They did a lot of kind of pop rock and rock adjacent arena music, and played a lot of guitar and had these big choruses. And Liam was a huge part of that. He was kind of a utility player in some ways within One Direction, but he was fundamental to their appeal and their sound of creating that kind of pop rock that was universal and really transcended generations.
Yeah. And he was in Argentina to go, it seems, to the concert of his former bandmate, Niall Horan. They all seem to remain friends after the band broke up or went on hiatus. That's fair to say, isn't it?
Yeah, and just one of the tragedies of today, obviously, Liam's own musical journey has been cut short. He was working on new solo material, his second solo album. But also, yeah, I don't think that a proper One Direction reunion and comeback was off the table. It still might not be with the remaining members, but it's just one bit of more sorrow of this day that, yeah, there was certainly a chance that they could have come back together at some point and toured the world again, put out some more music. They all did seemingly remain close.
This is a big shock for so many people, fans already holding vigils outside the hotel in Argentina where he died.
Yeah, it cannot be overstated how huge One Direction was in popular music, especially because they were really the first boy band to really harness the social media era of modern culture. You think about the boy bands that came before them, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys. That was way before YouTube or Twitter or Instagram. So there was this entire global fandom that surrounded One Direction, and now they are in mourning today. It's really a sad day for just millions and millions of fans.